I didn't get a chance to.
Oh, it's okay.
But hey, I'm glad you called.
I just wondered if you saw that email I sent you.
Yeah, I have. It's been such a hectic day. I'm not sure if I got a chance to digest it, but I did see some emails from you today.
I did not know if it would irritate you. I just told you I tied the story of Jesus Christ and His law to the New World Order. I gave it my best shot, but I didn't know if you would get mad about the things I said there. I just sort of tied it all together from my own point of view for you, so you could see kind of what I'm thinking.
You know, it's been such a crazy day. I did get that, and I have not read it yet, and I sent it on. I did get it, and I sent it to John Lamb. Have you had a chance to connect with John Lamb yet?
I did. I talked to him, and it went really well. He's interested in my idea that I've been trying to get Guy to do about the crowdfunding for prisoners to raise a little bit of money to help some prisoners.
Great.
And you know, the lawyer that I used to work with, he's dead, of course, but his junior partner is really quite a good attorney.
Okay.
You know, I don't know how to describe a good attorney because they're all working for Babylon.
Yeah. The good attorney is. I mean, it's like saying there's a Christian terrorist. I didn't know there was such a thing as a good attorney.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, Scott's not greedy at all, and he's very honest, and he happens to be Jewish.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
His name is Scott Cantor.
Okay.
Grozade used to tell me, Grozade was Sicilian,
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Grozade, I met him because I had a letter of credit for fertilizer to China. It was $30 million. I don't know if I mentioned that, but we never could deliver the fertilizer. But I met a lot of interesting men doing my talk show. I met a man named Milton Christensen, and he found some rock that had a lot of calcium metal in it. And that rock, I later used it instead of fertilizer. As fertilizer, I made a drink called Water of Life out of it. And I sold millions of dollars worth all over the world of the Water of Life. So it's kind of a whole bunch of different minerals that just happened to be in that rock that was out there in Austin, Nevada.
This is different than your copper water?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. When I think
every metal has a different story, sir.
Okay.
For instance, zinc. If you take hallmark zinc and process it using my way, nobody has my formulas, but I've been teaching over the phone how to do it. The zinc, if you drink the zinc water, it stops all sexual replication of viruses within 15 minutes after you consume enough of it. And the AIDS virus would die, can't have sex after 12 days. That's why they put viruses that haven't been able to eat for 12 days in the inoculations, you see. Then when you... Right. After 30 days, if they can't replicate, they die off of old age. So you could cure AIDS with the zinc.
Very cool. Very cool. Yep.
But there's problems, You ever heard of a Hertzheimer's reaction? You might want to type that in your computer.
Hertzheimer's?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I've ever heard.
I can send you more details on it.
I have not heard of that.
If you have a viral count of 250,000 in your blood, or maybe you've got some worms, like parasites, little microscopic parasites.
Yeah.
This call is from a federal prison.
Drink the copper water and you kill all those parasites. You now have decomposing parasites in your bloodstream.
That makes sense.
Right. That makes you sicker than the sickness you had before you drank the copper water. That's called a Hertzheimer's reaction. Now see, Art Bell drank some of my product and got sicker briefly and got very mad at me.
Okay.
And that's why he was bad-mouthing me on the air.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how do you fix the Hertzheimer? I did bring it up. And it appears to be what you described. Hertzheimer, Herxhimer, Hertzheimer reaction.
You're really fast. You're really fast at that computer, right?
Oh, yeah. I
Okay.
can. Okay.
I discovered something rather amazing. Here's what I discovered. Calcium metal, when you liquefy it the way I do the copper and drink it, calcium metal absorbs the toxins that are called acidic crystalline neurotoxins. These are the toxins that cause you to have the Hertzheimer's reaction. So by consuming the calcium, you're able to neutralize all negative side effects. And by the way, the calcium they sell in the Tums and the antacids does not do anything for you. Nothing at all. It is actually causes bone spurs, kidney stones, and Alzheimer's. And there's no study ever been conducted that shows that it hardens your bones. I do not use blackboard chalk. There's a company called Aneva that stole my lecture tape. They named my lecture, Who Put the Chalk in Your Cheerios? And they started selling their garbage product, and they made over $1 million a month selling my garbage product. I mean, their garbage product. I said, Floridian slip there.
Yeah,
anyway,
gotcha. Okay.
You have to start with hallmarked metal, calcium metal chunks to make it the correct way. Now, when I first made this product, I had somebody use the muscle testing. They call it kinesiology, and they tested it, And she told me, oh, you need 4 ounces right away. Well, kinesiology is not all that accurate, but she said I needed it, and I happened to have the flu at the time. I had a sore throat and maybe 102-degree fever. Wasn't feeling up to par, And I drank that calcium, the 4 ounces. I was the first person to ever guinea pig. I actually consumed the whole 4 ounces and sat there waiting to see what would happen. And all the flu symptoms went away in about 2 hours. No headache, no sore throat, no fever. Everything went away. Well, that mystified me. I thought, wow, we got the cure for the common cold. But I ended up having to send it off to Larry Wayne Harris. Do you recognize that name?
Do not recognize that name.
He was the one arrested when Clinton was in the White House for having the anthrax on the airplane.
Oh, okay.
He worked for the CDC. Type in that on your computer. Larry Wayne Harris. Anyway, he did all the testing on my calcium, and he come back and he said, it kills nothing, it does nothing. Well, I was really mystified. I couldn't figure out what was going on. So at the time, I did some more, soul searching and some deep prayer, and we figured out the truth. The truth is, it just absorbs those toxins, neutralizes those toxins that cause the flu symptoms, so you feel better.
Okay, gotcha.
It tested as not killing anything. It didn't kill anything. The copper tested as killing everything, parasites and viruses, and molds, and mildews. Like funguses. Copper does everything. Copper does everything that silver's supposed to do, but the silver doesn't really do it. And I was telling John that I would like to let him motivate the copper to raise money to expand his talk show and help him out. I told him that Guy said that he would, whatever's fair. Guy's sitting there with a lot of product and doesn't really not doing any business, And if John were to say people can have a free sample, he'd probably ship out 4,000 or 5,000 free samples. Maybe charge $3 for postage and handling. Just try to break even. In other words,
Yeah.
Most people would say, "Well, really, just send me a gallon of that. I'll pay the $30 or whatever it is."
Yeah. No. I'm really encouraged. I'm really encouraged that you got a chance to speak to John, because he is a very good guy, has a big Christian audience, and he seems like a good match for you. And so I'm very encouraged. I hope you get to continue to speak to him, and I hope he picks up your case as far as publicizing it. I got 2 questions for you. The Idaho State Constitution. Did you get everything you needed for that?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay.
Guy sent it.
Oh, good. Well, praise God for Guy. And the other thing is, I hear so much talk about, for instance, I had a situation a while back where I was eating chocolates, and they said, well, the chocolates are poisoning you because it's got all this heavy metal poisoning, and it mentions all these different heavy metals that are in the chocolates. And what do you think about, supposedly all of this? I see it on online literature all the time about we're being heavy metal poisoned, and yet you're talking about putting copper in the water, which is putting metal in the water. Is that a big deal that we should be worried about, heavy metal poisoning?
It is, but what you have to realize is if you consume a product like the gold water, it amalgamates with heavy metals of, say, mercury, and it will protect you from the mercury.
I see.
The gold will do that, because gold has an affinity towards mercury. And I'm the only company that was making non-toxic gold water. I don't know if Guy has any or not, but I haven't asked. But about heavy metals, copper is normally poisonous. It's listed as a toxic element. In fact,
This call is from a federal prison.
in Flint, Michigan, was called the Copper and Lead Act, if you go look that up. And copper is normally so poisonous, it causes its own disease, and the disease is called not Wilson's disease. I went to medical school. I got to remember all these diseases. Okay, so Wilson's disease is caused by copper poisoning. I had a woman who was diagnosed with Wilson's disease because she had too much copper in her, and I tried to give her the right copper. The problem is the body will hang on to the bad copper. It grabs it and hangs on to it because it wants copper. Copper is used to make the blood vessels stronger, so you don't have aneurysms. Well, to make a long story short, she wouldn't take the copper, and she ended up dying of an aneurysm. And she had Wilson's disease.
Yeah,
So
I just looked it up, and you're absolutely right. Wilson's
Right.
disease is too much copper, just like you said.
Right. So if you make the copper non-toxic, you can literally drink endless amounts of it, and there are no negative side effects.
What about this? People say there's a cure for cancer. G. Edward Griffin put out a video called "World Without Cancer." It's vitamin B17, amygdalin. There's another name for it too, but it's kind of like arsenic and apricot seeds. You ever heard anything like that?
Yeah. That's known as Laetril.
Laetril, yeah. What do you think about that?
And that's what Steve McQueen was using. Oh, we could do some fun talk shows. But anyway, you'll find that I wrote an article on cancer. Guy has it. I've got it here. I could retype it for you if Guy won't send it.
Okay.
I'm going to ask Guy in a few minutes to send you the article I wrote to Wayne Allen Root. I want him to forward that over to you and to John.
You know, Wayne Allen Root, I do remember that name. He's the guy who came out and said that Obama didn't go to Columbia University and that he put out a forged birth certificate, I believe. He's pretty famous in the birther circle, so that's amazing that you would mention his name, but go ahead.
Yeah, Wayne Allen Root was one of Trump's advisors.
Okay.
During the election. And he has his own talk show also.
Okay.
And he's a Christian, but he happens to be of Jewish ancestry, just so you'll know.
Okay.
But anyway, Wayne never responded to my letter because, Bob died, and Bob was supposed to have sent it over there. But the point is I cover a lot of things in that letter. But back to the heavy metals. So not all metals can be made into non-toxic drinks, but copper, when made into a non-toxic drink, does more than any other medicine or drug known to man. I mean, it takes out all viruses, all mildews, and all parasites. I had a doctor that was in Africa. He was a Christian guy that had what do you call it? You walk on the beach, you get these worms that get in your skin. They go in your brain. They get in your eyes. You go blind. It's like a brain-eating amoeba. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay, I've heard about it, but I don't know the name.
Anyway, he was on a mission for. There was two of them. There was one that was a woman that was a Christian that was on a mission over there. She had the same condition. Anyway, the point is, the copper actually is the only cure I know of. There is no cure normally known to man that will take out the brain-eating amoeba. This stuff actually is a miracle. It's just I get real excited talking about it. And when the woman had sickle cell and drank some, her sickle cell went away. A black woman in New York at the Cap Distributing, and it's supposedly, if you take it on an empty stomach with no food, it'll make you kind of queasy. But if you put it in your food or put it in some milk or put it in your oatmeal, you don't ever notice any negative side effect. But it super affects digestion of the liver as far as protein assimilation. And so I haven't finished all the testing on it, but I believe it's the cure for MS and MD. And I was hoping I could get you or John or somebody to find me somebody that has MD or MS, and I wanted to send them a free bottle of that copper and see if we can cure them, because that's what I really want to get done. Yeah.
No, John would be a good guy, and if I don't know anybody off the top of my head, but I'll keep my eyes open. I looked up the name of brain-eating amoeba. It's Nagliera fowleri. I'm also going to read your New World Order Jesus Christ Part 1 tonight and put it up on YouTube.
See if you like it. See if I didn't piss you off or upset you or something.
No, it's okay that we disagree. I sent you an email. It's okay that we might have a few disagreements, but let's keep talking, David, and we're going to keep advocating for you to be free.
Well, I just wanted you to understand this whole story between the Civil War and Bundy, and and what I really think's going on with the law. You know, that's why I can do part 2 if you want. I didn't, you know.
Yeah, well, let me read and digest part 1. Okay, it cut him off. Quite an interesting character there. The thing is that I'm getting overwhelmed with communications from various prisoners, and I'm doing the best I can, but he's always interesting to talk to.